Hey guys, it's Sherry Vegas and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making some Christmas ornaments, and of course we're going to be using resin. We're also going to be using alcohol inks and doing a few different styles, so stay tuned. There's a few things you're going to need. I have some just empty baubles. These are just clear ones. Ideally, I wanted glass just because I feel like glass shines better and looks better, but they were all sold out, so I have some of these plastic ones. I have 4 of these and they were $2 each, and I got them from the reject shop. I also have these really cool Christmas molds that I'm going to be using to create some ornaments, and I bought these off Etsy, so I'll link the store below from where I bought them. I've got a few different pinata alcohol inks, and I bought those off my friend Tegan, who now has her own art supply store in Brisbane, so I'll leave the link for all of that below. And then I've also got some glitters and a few other things to create some really cool fun baubles.
So the first step to make the resin ornaments is to mix up some casting resin. Today I'm using the Make Art resin, which is a Gold Coast based brand, and I'm using their crystal cast. This is one of my favourite casting resins to work with, as it's really easy to use and it has a really good UV resistance to it. I'll leave the link to this resin in the description box below. I also have a discount code for Make Art resin, which is only valid until January, so definitely go and check them out, as they're really great resin brand and pretty affordable too for the quality of resin. So because this is a 2:1 ratio resin, I'm just mixing this up really gently, not trying to overmix it or add too many bubbles, but you do get a lot less bubbles with a 2:1 ratio resin than you do from a typical 1:1, and this resin has been designed for the purpose of casting, so it is perfect for the job that I'm going to be using it for and pouring it into a silicone mold. On my bauble ornament, I decided to add a bit of silver over the snowflake. Now this was a little bit messy, but well worth it when you do see the result. I just patted that in really gently, so that means that this silver is going to be over just the area of the snowflake, and then when I pour my other resin colors in, it's going to lock in that silver powder. This silver powder is from Barnes, but I know a few other places do sell really beautiful silver metallic pigments that you can use in resins, like Ellie Chem and Art Treat Creation, but this one I think is called Aluminium and it's from Barnes. Because this is a powder that I'm working with, it was a little bit messy and I did get some fallout onto areas I didn't want, as I really only wanted the snowflake to be silver in this bauble. So I just got a bit of paper towel and some alcohol spray and sprayed that on the paper towel and then wiped around the areas where I had the fallout. You could also use a cotton tip if you wanted to get really precise, and it came off pretty easily with the alcohol spray. I did have a little bit left that was a little bit outside the lines, but I was happy with how it was looking. Once you've cleaned up all the fallout, it's time to start mixing your resin colors. You can do whatever colors you like. Today I decided to do red, silver and white because those are the colors that are on my tree at the moment, and I wanted to create these decorations to match in with my tree. So I have some red glitter, I've got my silver from Barnes again, and I'm also using the titanium white from Just Resin, and I will be using a little bit of clear resin as well. All of the glitters that I'm using today I already had from last Christmas. I have decided to stop buying plastic based glitter in general just because it's so bad for the environment, but I already had these just tucked away, as I think many resin artists always have like a little stash of glitter tucked away. So I have switched over to only buying bio glitters from now on, but I just thought I might as well use up the last of my plastic based glitters. So in my Christmas tree mold, I'm just pouring down some clear resin, and then I'm going to get my white and my silver and pour that over the top. So I would say less is more with this. I think I did go a little bit heavy-handed on the white for the effect that I wanted to create, because I am going to be doing this as a double layered ornament. So I added my white, my silver, and I think I probably should have used about half that amount, but you'll see when I do pull it out of the mold what I mean. And then I swirled it around for my ornament, so that way I'd get a really cool pattern. And on my bauble ornament, I decided to use the red glitter, so I poured that over my silver snowflake. Oh, that's hard to say too many times in a row, silver snowflake. So I just poured my red glitter all over the bauble. At the top part of my mold, where the little loop is for the bauble, I used the leftover part of my silver that I used on the other mold and just poured that into the top area.
Okay guys, so we have done the first layer of resin in our ornaments, and I'm going to put those to one side, and I'm going to start on my baubles, which is the alcohol ink and glitter combination. I've got 4 baubles, so I'm going to be doing a few different variations on the same technique, using the glitter on the inside and the outside and the alcohol inks on the inside and outside. So let's get started.
For the first bauble that I'm doing, I'm going to use some gloss varnish on the inside because I'm going to be putting glitter on the inside of my bauble. You can use whatever kind of glue varnish that you like. I just decided to use this because I had it on hand and it's really fluid, so it was really easy to get it to coat the full surface area of the inside of the bauble. You could use PVA glue, you could use spray adhesives, Mod Podge, whatever you really like, because it doesn't really matter too much because all the glitter is going on the inside, so it doesn't need to stick as well as it would need to if you were going to glitter the outside of your bauble. And I found this just really easy to work with and held the glitter really well, but whatever glue you have on hand is great. And then I just tipped out the excess because I'm going to keep reusing this. And then if you don't have a funnel, just curl up some paper and it's going to help and make it so much more easier to put in the glitter than to try to pour it without a funnel. So I just did a little makeshift one with some paper and then poured all of my red glitter in, and it was so much easier than trying to pour it without one. And then all you have to do is just rotate your bauble around, making sure that all of your surface area is getting covered and you don't have any little gaps where the glitter isn't sticking. I feel like this red glitter is just so beautiful and so pretty. I was really happy with how this was looking. If you need to, you can always add a little bit more glue on some areas, like a spray varnish would be really helpful for that, just to do a certain area. But as you can see, like the gloss varnish held really well and I got a full coating all the way around with just one go. Because you will put too much glitter into the bauble, just with the excess, pour it out into a cup and save it for later. I decided I was going to do a bauble that was all of the leftover glitter that I had and do sort of a multicolored bauble theme. So just save all that glitter for later. Then just attach your lid back on once you're happy with the inside of your bauble. Mine was a screw top, so that made it really simple. Now I'm going to be writing onto this bauble the word joy. You can use whatever word you want to write onto your bauble, or you can just leave it with the glitter on the inside and no writing. I am not the best writer, so I picked joy because it was very simple to write, only 3 letters. I am using this chrome metallic pen, and it is honestly one of my new must-have items. You definitely have to go and check this out. I got this from my friend Tegan's store, and I'm going to add the links below because it's a must-have. Like, look at that shine. It's literally like liquid metal when you write with it. And then you can just go back in and keep like readjusting the writing. I also found if you make a mistake, you can wipe this off because it's on plastic with a bit of alcohol before the liquid metal pen sets. So this is actually my second attempt at writing joy, and the first go didn't go so well, so I just quickly got some alcohol spray, wiped it off and started fresh. For my second bauble, I decided to use alcohol inks on the inside of it. I couldn't get a hold of like a really deep red, so I'm using coral, which is okay, but I would have preferred to have a red to match in with the other baubles, but once it's on the tree you won't even notice. And I'm just adding that on the inside and then just rotating it. I also decided to use a little bit of a pearl, and this one is another pinata ink as well, so continuously just rotating this on the inside. You could also use, if you had on hand, an airbrush gun to dry the alcohol ink and to create some cool patterns, or if you've got the air in the can, that also works as well to create some really cool patterns. For the next step, I just used a bit of spray adhesive, which helped create a really cool effect with the alcohol inks, because as I sprayed it in, it sprayed them everywhere and kind of reactivated it. If you didn't want it to be reactivated, you'd probably have to use something that wouldn't contain any alcohol in it, but I really liked this effect and how it kind of sprayed all the ink up against the inside of the bauble. And then because I love glitter, I had this iridescent clear glitter on hand, and I just once again added that into the inside of the bauble, shook it up, and then I also added in some bigger iridescent glitter, so that way I'd have a really cool, like, chunky and really fine effect on the inside of this bauble. And I just kept pouring out all of the excess and saving that for later. For the last bauble, I decided I wanted the alcohol ink on the outside and then glitter on the inside, but I did make a big mess and I did have to start again with this. So I wanted to have like silver and the pearl drips on the outside and then like red glitter on the center, and I worked out, because I was resting it in a cup, all of the alcohol ink had all pulled out the bottom and it just didn't look really pretty. So I put my red glitter on the inside and then I cleaned up the outside. Because I used alcohol inks, all I had to do to reactivate it was to spray some rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol on the outside, get some paper towel and clean that off. And then I started again just dripping my alcohol ink and just not using as much and holding the bauble at the top, so that way the drips could drip down and not get caught in the cup. So you do have to hold this one the whole way through, otherwise you could put the lid back on and like loop it up onto something, so that way you don't have to hold it the whole time. But alcohol ink does dry really fast, so this was pretty simple and didn't take too long to do. I started off with the white pearl base and then added the silver on top and then some glitter, that big chunky iridescent clear glitter just at the top, and it kind of reminded me of like a Christmas pudding, this one. I also did decide to go back in on one of my baubles and use the silver pen again, because I love it so much. I cannot wait to keep using this for different projects, and just write Merry across it, just to add a little bit of extra special touch to it. I waited about 4 hours for the first layer of resin to set before I started doing the second layer. I mixed up the same casting resin again, but I just didn't mix up as much because I'm only doing a small amount. And I split that into two parts. In one part I added some more of the red glitter, and then in the second part of my resin I did a bit of the silver holographic glitter. So I'm just pouring that onto my Christmas tree ornament, so that way the red should peek through some parts that were clear, to poke through the white and the silver in this ornament and hopefully create a cool effect. And then on my second ornament I'm going to be adding in the silver glitter as a backing. You probably won't even see it through because I did do the first layer quite chunky, but I just thought it'd be a cool little trick to do. Then I came back the next day and it was time to demold my ornaments. The first ornament is my bauble with the red glitter and the silver snowflake, and I was really happy with how this looked. The red glitter really shined, the silver on the snowflake looks really pretty, and the little silver loop at the top, I was really happy with that. For my Christmas tree ornament, I wasn't as happy just because I think I added just too much white and silver and it overpowered it, and you kind of didn't see enough of the red glitter coming through the back. So if I was to do this again, I'd do a lot less white and silver, so that way more red poked through. Then I decided to make one last ornament for my tree with all of that glitter that I'd been putting aside from all of the other bauble projects, and I just mixed that in with some resin, and it was all of that leftover discarded glitter, and it looked really pretty. So all I did was mix it in and then pour it straight into the mold. And once again with my silver pen, I just added a little bit of detailing and I drew in the snowflake and just the top of the bauble, and I've got to say I'm absolutely addicted to this pen. I highly recommend everyone getting one.
Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed my Christmas resin and alcohol ink baubles. I think they've turned out really pretty and match really well on the tree, and it's also such a lovely thing to have stuff that you've made yourself on your tree and not just 100% bought items, because then you can like really personalize them. You can put your family members' names on them. You can do this with your kids, so you can really make it personal and add that extra special touch to your Christmas. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite decoration that I made? Is it the resin ornaments? Is it the baubles? And what bauble was it? What resin ornament was it? What would you do? Let me know in the comments below. If you're new to my channel, please do subscribe, as I post new tutorials every single week, all to do with art, DIY, and lots of resin. And don't forget to like this if you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching.